Good morning, English 2. Happy Friday! You made it to the weekend. It's almost here. Excuse me. I'm yawning, and I shouldn't be. We are going to start with Act 4 today. Okay, remember that Act 3, your assignment was due last night. I have switched it so that if you haven't turned it in yet, it'll accept a late assignment. I want to show you what's going to be due at the end of Acts 4 and 5. They're together in the module, okay? Remember that I scheduled this to not be due until like Monday, Tuesday, okay? So we're going to get through today. You're not going to have anything that's like technically due in buds today. And then you'll have it due the beginning of next week, okay? So I'm in 4.5. Again, that's Acts 4 and 5. There's two charts, okay? There is a betrayer and patriot chart where you're going to have to pull evidence from the play, all right? Not just Acts 4 and 5, but notice it's bolded from the play. And you're going to decide whether Brutus is a traitor or a patriot, okay? So I'm going to show you an example. This is a quote from the text, right? This is saying that according to this quote, he is a patriot. And then this is an explanation, all right, on what it means. Here, you put in your act and scene. So you need to go find this quote and then put in the act and the scene. So provide citation. Brutus is talking about killing Caesar to save Rome from dictatorship. Excuse me. But not killing Mark Antony as well. So hint, hint, you might want to go back to like Act 1 or 2, right? Because that's like where we hear about the plot of the conspirators. Here is when he kills Caesar, right? He says, et tu, Brute, you too, Brutus. Shows that he's a traitor and the comment about it. And then in here you would put the act and the scene. Isn't it Act 3, right? That Brutus kills him. So you only have to find 4 more pieces of evidence. Okay, they gave you 2 of 6. They actually gave you, except for having to find the scene and act, the act and the scene, they gave you a third of your assignment. Okay. Then the second piece, so both of these are submitted for Act 4, is that you're going to fill in this. And I will go over this again once we're done with the acts because a lot of this is in Acts 4 and 5, so I don't want to kind of ruin some of the story right now. Okay, but both of those is what you will submit for the assignment next week. So you could start working on the betrayer and patriot chart if you wanted to this weekend. If you don't want to, that's fine. All right, and so I'm just going to read to you today, and we'll work through the acts. So Act 4, Scene 1, pretty short. 3 characters enter, Antony, Octavius, and Lepidus. Antony says these ones then will be assassinated. Their names are marked. Octavius looks at Lepidus and says, your brother has to die too. Do you agree? And he says, I agree. And Octavius says, put a mark next to his name too, Antony. Lepidus says, on the condition that your sister's son, Publius, also must die, Mark Antony. And Antony says, he will die. See, I've sealed his fate with this mark next to his name. But Lepidus, go to Caesar's house, bring his will here, and we'll figure out a way to reduce his bequests to the people. Lepidus says, will you be here when I return? Octavius says, either here or at the Capitol. And he exits. Antony says, he's an unremarkable man, fit only to be sent on errands. Does it really make sense, once we divide the world into 3 parts, that he should be one of the rulers? Okay, so we've not read very far into the play, or excuse me, like into the act, right? So far, they've already confirmed that 2 more people are going to die, right? And now, look at this last line. Antony's saying, well, if we're going to divide up all of Caesar's stuff, I don't know if that guy's really that smart. I don't know if he should be one of the rulers. So now someone else is maybe, we don't know yet, but maybe considering a little bit of plotting there, right? Let's find out what happens. Octavius says, you thought it made sense and you listened to him about who should be marked to die in these harsh death sentences. Antony says, Octavius, I'm older than you are. And although we're giving these honors to this man so that he shares some of the blame for what we're doing, he'll carry these honors like a jackass carries gold, like a donkey carries gold, right? Groaning and sweating under the load. Either let or push as we direct him. Because a donkey is just thought of, right, as like just being like a mule, like something to carry stuff. So they're kind of saying that he'll just do what we want, but he's not really going to be like a go-getter. He's not going to be really the one that like does actual anything. Once he's carried our treasure where we want him, we'll free him of the load and turn him loose like a jackass, to shake his ears and graze in the public pastures. So Antony, where we were all kind of before, like, he's a really great guy. I don't know. This line I'm a little like, Antony, I don't know if I really like you right now with the way that you're talking about someone else. But let's find out what happens. Octavius says, you can do what you want, but he's an experienced and honorable soldier. Antony says, so is my horse, Octavius. And for that reason, I give him all the hay that he wants. But my horse is a creature that I teach to fight, to turn, to stop, to run in a straight line. I govern the motion of his body. And in some ways, Lepidus is just like that. He has to be taught and trained and told to go forward. He's an empty man who pays attention to fashions and tastes that other men took up and got tired of long ago. Don't think about Lepidus except as a means to an end. And now, Octavius, listen to more important things. Brutus and Cassius are raising armies. We have to raise our own immediately, so we should combine forces and organize our allies, pull together our friends, and stretch our resources as far as they'll go. Let's immediately organize a council to discuss the best way to find out their secrets and the safest way to confront the threats we're already faced with. Octavius says, let's do that, because we're hemmed in by many enemies. And even some of the people who smile at us are in fact plotting against us. I'm afraid. Okay, well, that's a little bit hypocritical, right? Because they're talking about enemies and people smiling at them and they should be afraid of them. But then Lepidus, who is helping them right now, Octavius is like having a positive attitude toward him, but Antony's kind of doing the same thing, right? He's saying like, yeah, let's be nice and he'll help us,